Hey, good Wednesday evening, everyone. It is Weather for Weather Geeks time on this Wednesday. We're going to geek out to some cool stuff today, including the tropics for a change, because there's something interesting going on there. We'll talk about the longer range, but wanted to focus on the past, first of all. Real quick look at the precipitation anomalies for the year so far. In other words, the difference from average. Notice how dry it's been up in New England so far this year. Now, locally, with all of the rain that we've had over the last week to 10 days, we've made up a lot of ground. And actually, we're real close to average now at the Youngstown Warren Airport, something like zero point 0.2 still in the hole, but very close to average. You notice we do run into more substantial above average precipitation amounts across the Ohio Valley. And then the big national story, of course, this spring has been the flooding problems and the enormous amounts of rain they've had in Texas and Oklahoma, front range of the Rockies as well. Pretty dry across parts of the Great Lakes states, but again, eastern Ohio has been has had the benefit of having more rain over the last week to 10 days or so. So that's always a good thing. Real quick word on Blanca. This is a hurricane, a big one, Category 4. This is in the Pacific Ocean, not the Atlantic. And this may become a Category 5 tonight. It's going to weaken some as it heads off to the north and approaches the Baja of California, which is that little appendage that is on the west side of Mexico. But still, this could be a bit of a problem for parts of Mexico and then up into the southwest of the U.S. with heavy rains. You know, they need the rain, but a lot of times they get too much at one time and there's flooding. That's more of a concern for next week. But in the meantime, a very impressive looking, nearly stationary Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific Ocean. Pretty early in the season to have one this strong. All right, back here at home, let's bring up the satellite picture this evening. It's been a day where we've had clouds coming and going, and this evening they've thinned a little over the last couple of hours. It was pretty overcast for a lot of the day. Right now, the thickest overcast is in northern Trumbull, northwestern Mercer, and down into Columbiana County, while Mahoning County has had a little bit more in the way of sun over the last couple of hours. Now, temperatures today did manage to sneak up into the lower 70s locally. We've backed it off into the mid-60s here in the 7 o'clock hour. And no surprise, lots of heat across the country today, especially down in the southwest. This looks like a pretty typical June 3rd temperature map to me. Up in New England, another very cool day today with an easterly flow. So the coastal areas really struggled again. 50s, that was it in Boston, Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Long Island, Jersey Shore. Places like that were very cool for early June. We were closer to average today, and I think finally tomorrow we're going to get above average. Well, speaking of tomorrow, let's take a quick look at tomorrow. Still pretty optimistic that tomorrow is going to be a pretty nice day. Here's tomorrow morning as you get up and around. Weather map showing high pressure up here just off the coast of Maine. That's deflecting the moisture down to the south. We're going to have some sunshine for our Thursday. So we get into Thursday afternoon, though. Let's take a look at that. Some of the models have been trying to spin up a little bit of moisture tomorrow afternoon. I'm not really buying it. The NAM model's pretty dry here, as you can see. So I made the forecast dry for Thursday. Nice day, partly to mostly sunny for Thursday. Now, Friday, things are a little different as we wrap up the work week. What we have Friday is a cold front slipping in from the north. Now, this front is weak. There's almost no temperature change behind the front, but there is a humidity gradient. It's muggy ahead of the front, less humid behind it, and it'll be just enough to stir up some spotty showers and thunderstorms, I think, as we get into the afternoon and evening on Friday. Here's what the NAM model has late afternoon, scattered precipitation around eastern Ohio and into western parts of Pennsylvania. Now, the trend on the models over the last 24 hours has been a nice trend for us with regards to the start of the weekend. Previously, this front looked like it might get hung up across the region. Now it's going to go far enough to the south that it's going to keep the moisture to the south on Saturday. And with high pressure off to the north, I think we've got a dry flow of air Saturday. Should be a beautiful day. Graduation parties and outdoor weddings are big at this time of the year. Anything you have going on outside, Saturday should be just fine. It's going to be a very comfortable day. The humidity pretty negligible. The news for Sunday is still mostly good, with one little caveat. As moisture starts to increase again on Sunday, I do think there could be some real spotty stuff in the afternoon. Here's Sunday afternoon. Maybe there's a spotty shower or a thunderstorm, but I'll tell you, most of this is going to try to hold off until Sunday night and then heading into parts of Monday. For instance, as we kick off Monday morning, our front's pushing through. Pretty good chance for showers and thunderstorms, I think, on Monday, particularly in the morning hours. So next week starts out kind of wet, but I think as we head towards midweek, we're going to trend drier as drier air pushes in from the Midwest. I want to talk briefly about the longer range. As we look at the next 16 days, no heat waves are in sight. It's time of the year where we can get a heat wave, certainly, but not looking like it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Here's the upper level flow by early next week. Here's Monday. Our next front associated with this trough pushing in. And watch what happens, it looks like, as we go through next week. That trough will just sort of linger on the East Coast, it looks like. And that will prevent any high heat from coming east. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be cold or chilly even, but I think we'll spend a lot of time next week near average or maybe a little above average, but not far from the average. Pretty typical second week of June coming up for next week. As long as you see these blue colors in this trough over the east, the heat's going to stay bottled up somewhere else. So that looks like the trend in the longer range. In fact, 2 weeks from now, the models are, especially the GFS, which I'm showing you here, the models are still indicating kind of a mean trough in the east with a mean ridge in the Midwest. And that would keep the warmth out in Texas and Kansas and Oklahoma, places like that. So, if you're a heat lover and you'd like to see some 90-plus days, this isn't your pattern for the next couple of weeks. I want to thank you again, as always, for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. We'll have another edition tomorrow evening as we gear up for the Cavs game. And I will, of course, be posting fresh updates this evening and tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, as always, on my Facebook and on my Twitter accounts. If you don't follow me on Facebook yet, be sure and put meteorologist in front of my name to find me, to find my professional account on Facebook. All right, have a great Wednesday night. I'll see you tomorrow.